blind, deaf, and amnesic. Everyone. This is the affliction that we've all endured since I can remember. How could I put it into words? I don't even recall how it started. My first memories are of complete blackness, gore, and pain. The metallic taste of blood mixed with something very bitter, piercing my breath, hyperventilating as I feel my grip failing, the push and pull of bodies all around me. Can't move right, hurt all over. Many cuts, broken ribs, breath sharp with pain, cold, so very cold, cold and wet all over. I try to force down my barf as all the gagging reflexes kick in, the smell of viscera and awful invading every rasping breath I take. The windpipe finally caves in as I force one last jolt in my numb grip. I'm still blind, yet I know the bugger was a darkblood. It was trying to open me up with its fangs. The body goes limp and falls to the ground. I realize I'm upside down. 3 more try to contain the rest of my limbs. Can't breathe. I spit out what had to be an ear. Clawed fingers start burying themselves in my eye sockets. I fail at keeping the green potion in. I barf it out with what must be a muffled groan. A leg goes free for a split second. My thighs work. One of their number dies in a back triangle choke. My eye sockets burn with hurt and bleed. I kick out and hit something, breaking it with a snap. I blink rapidly as I beg for sight. In vain. All is black. One of the devils tries to work a garrote around my neck, as the other struggles with one of my arms. I punch the air desperately. The 4th time I hit something that goes limp. The garrote suddenly falls from my neck as I feel the last wretch getting away. I try to collect myself, to get my bearings straight. I fail. All is pain. My right leg is stretched beyond reason. I try to reach up, to feel my way out of this hell. I fail again. The pain is too much to bear as I try to extend upwards, so I hang there by the heel of my right foot, limp and broken. Some of the potions got into my blood for sure. I can muster another attempt. I do so. I struggle to get my arms to reach my right heel. I pass out. I wake up as my head slams against a stone floor. Neck takes the blow. My forehead opens up, rubbing bone against stone. Hurt. I lay there. I muster another attempt to reach for my searing right foot. I tentatively touch the back of my heel. There's a barbed metal hook there embedded in me between my Achilles tendon and the rest of my foot. It seems to have a rope tied to it. The string is thin, but the knot is large. I pause. I collect myself and try to pull it out. I manage to get it halfway through and I pass out. I wake up again. I try to remember. My mind is a mess. Pain all over, throbbing in my right heel. I suddenly recall some of it. I reach for my foot yet again. I try to untie the rope. It takes time. The knot is tight, and my hands are numb. A couple of minutes into this, I stop. It's futile. I can't see or feel what I'm doing. I work the rest of the hook all the way through my wound until the bleeding gash touches the tied rope. I pause again. I try to regulate my breathing, to collect myself. All this is second nature to me. I recall the monks, the training, my childhood as an aspirant. I recall. I pray. I reach around with my forearms. I feel something colder than the air. It's iron, has an edge to it. An axe. I clumsily try to cut the rope's knot with it. Each cut presses the metal inside the sore wound. It's hell. Finally, I manage to cut through the rope, at least some of it. Some of the knot is still there. Not that large now. I give it a try. I squeeze the last of the hook, then the rope through the wound as I grit my teeth. I don't pass out. Alchemicals. I lay there exhausted. The hunger I feel is at least a week old. Familiar fasting memories kick in, blurring my concentration. My thoughts are a mess. The bastards drugged me. Giant centipede, most likely. I feel pain more than I should, and it's hard to concentrate. I prioritize and execute, just like in training. I stumble around, groping in the dark. I find a wall and lurch towards what feels like a cold draft of air. The wounds are already knitting themselves shut. Alchemicals, the great kind. If a weaver would look at me with mage sight, he'd probably barf at the mix of unorthodox strands trafficked in my bloodstream. It's not stupid if it works. Memories of my past few days start rushing in, but none of who I am or why I'm blind and deaf. We were to clear out a breeding den of darkbloods, half payment up front and gear repair at the end. Standard. All these thoughts seem so familiar to me. I recall my brothers in arms as we descended into the breeding pit, holding torches and carrying pitch barrels. I stop. My brothers in arms, the company, the Sons of Dismas, it's all coming back to me. I turn around. As I venture back in the den, I try to figure out how to tell friend from foe. Touch is all I got. That and smell. That and smell. Goblins have a fetid odor to them. Should be simple enough. My first kill I bumped into soon enough. It was a large breeder, possibly a hobgoblin, strong and aggressive. We grabbed each other from whatever our hands first laid touch on, feeling each other to make out where we're at, while at the same time trying to obtain a more favorable chokehold. It ended as sudden as it started. I snapped her neck. The wretch nearly had my head locked in a hold, bit half my right earlobe. Fucking fight, that's all they do. Wretches, I will kill them all. As I grope my way in the dark, I find another brother hanging upside down, dead, one leg missing, the stump crudely worked over with sutures and flame. The wretched creatures amputated him for food, keeping the rest for later. I am filled with hate, revulsion, the urge to break, kill, and maim. I try to calm down. I fail. Bloodlust fills me, yet the cool calm takes over in the end. Alchemicals. I work every body that I stumble upon methodically by ingrained reflex, like I'm shearing sheep. If it smells fetid, I break whatever I've grabbed first. It's easier to dispatch a goblin if it's half broken. By the end of the fourth fight, I'm exhausted. I lay down in a fetal position, not to present a limb to any dark blood that stumbles by. I simply wait. I kill 3 more times crouching there, 2 strangleholds and a snapped neck. The hunger I feel ravages me. I am also parched. I lick the cold stone floor for moisture. Finally, I lay there waiting and fighting the urges. I pray. By the time the next fight stumbles upon me, I've made up my mind. I will sin. The breeder I slay doesn't stand a chance. Small, scrawny. I open it up, starting from an open fracture. I feed. Immediately I start to vomit profusely. I crawl away from the smell of innards and barf. I give myself time to catch my breath, to stabilize. By my 3rd feeding attempt, I've heaved all the juice I've had in me. I shake all over. I lay on the stone floor, clutching my knees to my chest. By the time I'm strangling the next stumbler, I realize it's not fighting back. I stop. It has fur. It licks my face. Its breath stinks like a corpse. It must be Poacher, a mongrel bought in Salzbrud. More memories flood my mind, irrelevant and vivid trivialities from a day-to-day life, making my mind reel by sheer volume. The next fight is a mess. Poacher bites me twice by mistake. Christ alone saved me from a jugular or groin bite. I've trained the dog myself. After the goblin is dead, Poacher feeds. I envy him. Poacher guides me to my comrades. I have to knock out 5 of them. I've never been more glad that I'm a bull of a man, and that there's none better in the company at grappling. Time passes. We end up forming a cluster of mercs in a corner of the cave. We hold each other by the shoulder. On our way towards the blizzard, we stumble upon a goblin bunch. They've also ganged up, stalking us at the cave entrance. The fight is total chaos. Mistakes are probably made. We'll never know for sure. By the end of it, we reach the outside world. The cold and wind have gotten worse. We turn back in the cave. Reaching a corner as far away from the entrance as possible, we take turns resting while some stand guard. Blind guardians. We got a contract to clear a goblin breeding pit. When we were working, Cruniac stirred, so an anomaly hit everything and everyone. We woke up as gimps for the gobos. For what it's worth, we completed the mission. That's right. The Sons of Dismas work even in the end times. We'll get the job done. We cleared the caves of all breeders and the few bulls, blind and deaf and amnesic. We fulfilled the contract. We came to our senses faster than most of the darkbloods. I have no idea why that happened, but when it did, it became obvious we were the ones to lapse first. Before the blackout hit them as well, they were in the middle of processing us. Some for eating, some for work, some for making half-breeds. I was strung up for carving when they also must have blacked out. When we started waking up blind, I'm thinking they were more confused and afraid than we were. For them, not seeing in the dark was something completely alien. It gave the goblins something to be anxious about, and goblins being cowards lost their resolve. The affliction, whatever it was, came all of a sudden. No warnings. At least that's what I remember. I am still deaf, and mostly everyone around me seems to be as well. The critters too. Mass blindness, mass deafness, and mass amnesia. For 3 days. 3. Damn that number. 3. No, I'm not blaspheming. Superstitious folk will ignore the good book over their own assumptions. They'll say it's godly punishment, and that the number 3 was deliberately chosen by God to signal this. It's like they know what Christ said better than the apostles. It wrecks me how they ignore Luke 13 with 2. Evil and harm simply happen. You are told what to do about it, not why it happens. Funny how I remember theological rhetoric, but can't recall my own name. I'm sure there's irony in that. My memory is a mess. Some recollections are as vivid as a hook through a foot, while some things, even basic stuff, are clogged by memory lapses. I found this leather booklet in the bag hanging from my waist. After scribbling a few words on the side of a page, I realized my handwriting matched the script within. Turns out, my name is Hortigan. Decided I should write down everything I feel in this trying period, in the hopes that in updating my journal, I would also gain some memories of who I was before this mass affliction. I live in a constant state of déjà vu. Everything is a blur in my mind, except the contract. That's clear enough. We are getting paid today, no matter if the contractor remembers us or not. There was something or someone else in the goblin burrow. Something about the smell of the cave gave it away. It smelled very good. It smelled great over all the misery in there. That's what gave it away as unnatural, woven into whatever or whoever was stalking us from the dark. Poacher, the hound that rounded us up, was also incredibly jumpy. I couldn't make out what made him so at the time. I've smelled this fragrance before, yet I could not recall where. The burgher that hired us was called Vatmik Horpad, was the seneschal for the Miners' Guild here in Lipvig. We reached the Borg late at night. We should have waited till morning to collect, but the company was well rested, and we had a long journey ahead of us towards the next boar. I decided to wake the bugger up and convince him to cooperate, so that we don't waste any time. Upon reaching the manor, we found a number of carriages outside the walls. This could only mean that there was no more room to receive them within the courtyard. So the place was packed. No lights could be seen through the curtained windows. Not strange at all. The bugger was having one of them bacchanalias probably. No words were spoken in the band, but the boys immediately got tense. They knew what was up. I had to take action so that things wouldn't end up involving more violence than necessary. Flesh cults are forbidden within the walls of the Commonwealth Bourgs, so if the lads decided to dispense justice, they would get the perfect excuse for rape and pillage, the mercenaries' wet dream. I decided to storm the place with my most trusted men, make our way to the Bourget, and obtain our money along with a hefty ransom to buy our silence. Meanwhile, the full company would dispatch the carriage guards and hold the line around the compound. None were to escape the roundup, so that reinforcements could not be summoned. We released our raptor owls to bring down any carrier pigeons. We loaded up on alchemicals. A couple passed out. Fair enough. It always happens to a few in a score. I decided to breathe sight salts this turnaround. Makes the unnatural glow with a black hue. Helps if you're spooked that the foe has weavers. I was downright afraid at the time. I've had some encounters with secret lodges and cults back when I've lost Gorn, my friend. He had a horrible way out. Mog the mongrel took care of the gates. We went right through the front door into what was to become a horrible mess. Sure enough, there were only small candles illuminating the space within. The windows were covered with heavy draperies. All the nobles within were scantily dressed, going about their business when we stormed in. We went about our business as well. There were guards around, professionals. This was no joke. Mog and the rest of the crack team dispatched them while taking several severe wounds. We cleared the first floor within minutes. Something was horribly wrong, however. It took a moment for me to realize what it was. The fornicators were silent. And still, calm even. I was expecting pandemonium. I glanced at my lads, blood all over them and all sorts of lust written on their faces. There was no slowing this down if I wanted to keep them reined in. We stormed the second floor while leaving 3 men downstairs to check any would-be fornicator heroes. Mog was gone. His face was contorted with battle frenzy. He ripped an arm off from one of the guards. I had to shoot him down with one of the sleeping darts before he would turn on us. We cleared house. All was silent. All doors opened. No Vatmik. The orgy frozen. Everyone involved looking our way, as if goading us in our next move. Some of the lads started harassing the gentry. The half-orcs and I started interrogating a few of the men. Pliers and a flame were used. We had little time. Turns out the master burgher was in a secret basement. On our way down, we found the guards left behind, romping with some of the fornicators. Things were getting out of hand. We found the secret hatch to the basement. Lost a half-breed to a trap. Without Mog, we had to chop through the basement door with our own axes. Was reinforced. This took time. Finally got through. Small, narrow corridor. Dimly light. Openings on the side walls. A killing corridor. Not for me, however. Not in what I was decked. The rest of the lads stayed behind. I ventured forth, leaving the party behind. Sure enough, as soon as I started walking the corridor, swarms of bolts started clattering off my armor. I was expecting a scorpion bolt to come hurtling from the other side of the tunnel. None came. Sloppy killing field design. There were spike traps in the floor, however. I have custom sabatons. Nothing got through. Finally reached the end of the hallway. Used a crack potion on the door's lock and handle. The metal turned glassy black with a crisp sound. I shattered it with my rondel's pommel. Went through the door, dagger and shield in hands. Horpad was milking the wall. To this day, I'm not sure if this even means what I saw, but the man was naked, tugging a set of fleshy sacks. That, sure enough, were hanging from a sinew weave that was anchored to the wall. And yes, stuff was coming out of the wall sacks. A fluid. I didn't know what to do. He started slathering himself with the slime. I closed the door and turned back a few steps. Bolts started clattering off me again. Would not risk a lucky shot. Had to go in again. 3-word prayer and in I went. Shield first in case the bugger got any flammables. Before me was Donna. Didn't age a day either, which was a shame, since we were 12 at the time, and I felt 40 now. Bloody flesh cults, bloody Cruniac. The air around me was oozing black vapors. The sight salts were working my brain hard. She was probably an illusion. That meant something got through my helm, and that was unlikely. The wards were fresh. Decided to kill what was in front of me just to be sure. It smiled. I stabbed. It fell over. I looked around for the fat little bugger from a minute ago. Nope. No Horpad to be had. I was shaking all over. No way I was a child killer. But the changeling was not reverting to its normal form. Before me was what looked like a slain child. I felt like vomiting. I did. The filter got clogged. Had to take the helm off. Before the notion that the changeling was still alive hit me. A chair did as well. In the face. Hard. Broken nose. No harm done. But when I got my bearings again, it was on the ceiling, all dressed in rats. They were scurrying on it like a living fur coat, like a crawling fountain all the way from the ceiling, by the walls, to the floor. A mesh of rats all over. They moved together as if bound by the same will. This place was hell. From the center of the ceiling, it spoke to me with her soft voice, almost imperceivable over the scurrying and chittering that was going about. I won't write down what it said to me. Those words only she could have known, and as far as I knew, she was long dead from that raid, years ago. As it spoke, the rats started fusing together, a fabric of fur and fangs woven all over the room, the door entrance covered by many folds. The living net started drawing closer to me. I tore loose the clogged filter from the helm and strapped the barf bucket back on my head. The fanged meat flower engulfed me. Myriads of vorpal bites tested my armor for openings. Sure enough, there were some. It felt stranger than it should, being eaten alive. The pain was there, sharp at every bite, but it kept burning along with the mouthful as my flesh left my body, going inside the gorging rats. They were fusing me to them, one bite at a time, tunneling inside through the armor openings. Sick world. The rats were overburdening me. Soon I would be unable to move. Grabbed the black and blue potions. Stabbed myself with the blue one in my lower cannula. Broke the black one on my chest plate. My armor started burning as the troll potion changed me for a few minutes into a literal powerhouse. My muscles burst through my skin, just as it healed over to accommodate my new girth. My custom armor adjusting itself to the new mass of body. The flame was cooking me along with the rats, but they were smaller so they couldn't take it. By the end of it, I was scorched in the middle of a burned meat flower, but living. The troll blood pumping in me, regenerating my many traumas, at least the physical ones. Laying there, waiting, I tried to pray. I failed. Romans 8:26 went through my mind. I woke up next to Poacher the mongrel mutt and Gaspar the half-orc sergeant within my tent. It was midday. I was covered with a coarse woolen blanket and could apparently hear. Gaspar spoke way too many words for his own comfort. I had to pry out information from his taciturn ass. Doing so, I gathered the ransom collecting went horribly wrong. Vatmik Horpad was the head priest of a succubus flesh cult gone wrong. Not that there are any good succubus cults. It's just that this one had democratic issues. The succubus was involved with both a flesh coven within Lipvig and a goblin breeding pit near the Berg. The humans got greedy for their mistress's attention and decided to out the darkbloods. That's us doing the dirty work. When we came to collect from Horpad, the coven was in the middle of keeping their mistress busy, so it would not interfere with the Sons of Dismas's mission. We were not supposed to get back so soon. The succubus was not supposed to be so insatiable. Cruniac was not supposed to stir. Plans of mice and men, I guess. We crashed their party, and apparently I burned the compound down. The succubus did not die. I know that for a fact, and the cult is mostly intact. since the boys were contract-bound not to harm our employer if he paid. The lads looted what they thought was just payment and left the manor. The local constable was alerted about the cult and some of its members. Also, the Radiant Heart Fort nearby. Not sure that's going to solve anything, but there is no way I am getting to the bottom of this and keeping the company afloat. So it's the Sons of Dismas first. Going through the journal, I found out that somehow, before the anomaly blackout, I was torn between filling the ranks with strictly half-breed darkbloods and getting rid of all of them altogether. I have to admit they fought pretty well during the blackout in the goblin den. They were also reliable in their chastity within the succubus cult house. I'll have to give this some thought.